right, everyone, we are back with Weather for Weather Geeks. Thanks to everyone who watched the winter forecast video that we posted on Thursday. It was a long one, even by my standards for a winter forecast video. I think it went something like 24 minutes. Lots of positive feedback, I should say, on that video and that forecast. Of course, I dealt with, a number of trolls and whatnot on social media, especially Facebook. But, quick swing of the banhammer and they're gone. But overall, the response was very positive. And if you happen to watch that video, if you read my blog version of the forecast, I really appreciate you taking the time to check out that content. If you haven't yet, check it out. It's on my YouTube channel on ericwfmj.com for the winter forecast that we just released on Thursday. All right, so not much wintry about this month so far, and the forecast for the next several days. Really nothing wintry about our forecast. Today's high of 58 was a good, 7 degrees, 8 degrees almost, above the average. And, ever since a very chilly start to November on the 1st and 2nd, it was in the 40s. Last Saturday, a few days ago, was chilly, but overall, the number of mild days has easily outnumbered the number of cool days of late. And the story more and more is the precipitation or lack thereof so far in November at the airport. It's been almost 2 weeks since we've had measurable precipitation. We had 0.03 on the 1st. We're running a deficit now at the Youngstown Warren Airport of 1.28 inches so far in November, and we're going to string together a good 15 days in a row without measurable precipitation before rain by Friday. But yeah, that's just one location. Of course, if we zoom in on our local area here, these are rainfall totals so far this month, and there's been places that have had basically not a drop of rain so far in November, including right here in downtown Youngstown. We have a weather station up on the roof. We haven't had any measurable precipitation so far in November. A good chunk of Mahoning County, basically nothing. Southwestern Trumbull and parts of northern and western Columbiana, also quite dry so far this month. It's time to check in on the seasonal snow totals. Now, of course, it's still very early in the season, but these amounts are pretty modest up across the upper Midwest and across New England. You get into some mountainous terrain in parts of Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, upstate New York, and piddling amounts so far. And again, we're not going to add much to those totals anytime real soon. This is a pattern that favors winter weather in the west, but not across the eastern U.S. And across the country this evening, it is pretty quiet. Now, we are getting some beneficial rains this evening in places that have been very dry over the last couple of months. New Orleans, the I-10 corridor down along the Gulf Coast, over towards Houston as well. Otherwise, all is quiet across much of the lower 48 states. And that'll be the case on Tuesday as well. It won't be quite as breezy as today, with high pressure drifting across. Just a beautiful, calm day. Not quite as mild as today. The atmosphere today, very well mixed. The atmosphere was mixing up to about 5,000 feet, so you got a lot of air parcels coming and going, rising and falling, and that can lead to some breezy weather. It can also lead to a mild day. Tomorrow, the atmosphere will have a little more of an inversion. Not as much vertical mixing, so not as much wind, but also not quite as warm. Bottom line, still a nice day. Sunshine, highs in the lower 50s on our Tuesday. Mix of sun and clouds for our Wednesday, and this front kind of falls apart on Thursday. We await a stronger front on Friday, but wow, Thursday will be just like today, even warmer though. I think we'll crack 60 in most spots Thursday afternoon. And there's one chance of rain of any consequence in this forecast, and that's Friday and early Friday night. Pretty good chance of showers, outside chance of thunder, but this will be the wettest day of November so far by, a big margin coming our way on Friday with borderline washout. Showers are pretty likely to be around for much of the day and into Friday night. We're within range now of big travel days coming up before Thanksgiving, and of course the Thanksgiving holiday itself coming up in 10 days. And so we're going to start taking more and more looks at the longer range, especially with quiet weather this week. And when we look at the jet stream level next week, very complicated pattern across North America, but one thing that'll get our attention by the middle of the week, a little bit of a ridge popping here across the northern Rockies, and so downstream of that, you have a pretty good trough digging into the Great Lakes upper level low near Hudson Bay, and this looks like a pretty chilly looking weather map by just eyeballing it for that day before Thanksgiving next Wednesday. Now, it's too early to speculate too much on will there be big impactful winter storms across the country. I don't think we'll have one locally, but many people across the country will be traveling right before Thanksgiving, and it's a little too early to say with any specificity whether we'll be dealing with some sort of big-ticket event across the lower 48 states around the holiday. But I do think that from Thanksgiving through the following weekend, it looks pretty chilly. Here's some fairly raw model numbers. This is off the European model, and we're looking at basically this box here, all the numbers. That's the what we call the ensemble mean. There's 101 different flavors that go into the European ensemble, and then you take the average and you kind of get this. All your box and whisker plots are up here and down here, but the numbers in the middle are the mean, and you'll notice the trend next week. Fairly seasonable early in the week, upper 40s to maybe around 50, but then right around Thanksgiving into the following weekend, some pretty chilly weather. If this were to verify somewhere in this ballpark, this would be some of the chilliest daytime weather that we've had so far this season. We may be hard-pressed to get out of the 30s a couple of times during that long Thanksgiving holiday weekend. So it's early in the game. We're still 9 or 10 days away, but we're going to start talking more and more about the longer range in this video this week. In the meantime, thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks on this Monday. I'll see you back here, same time, same place on Tuesday.